Hey
All right.
everybody, Jim Powers with SB Live in Oregon. Glad to have you with us. And it's the big school championship this weekend in Oregon. And, team that has just absolutely been fantastic all year long. It is Tualatin, and we have their head coach, Dan Lever, with us. And coach, first off, congratulations on a great season. Walk us through how the year's gone and especially this very impressive playoff run that you guys have been on.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. It's a huge honor to be in this position. Um, yeah, we're very excited to be here. It's uh, it's a great group of kids. It's a group of kids that it's been this has been in the making for them for a while. Um, we knew they were special coming into high school. Um, and then Corona happens, and you don't know how things are going to pan out. Everybody. I think the big key for us is we just did everything we could to keep everybody together through the hard times, and now we're kind of back to somewhat normal. And the kids have done a great job of just staying focused and being steady the whole year. This group doesn't get too high or too low. Um, they just keep on rowing the boat, man. It's been a lot of fun to coach them, and it's Saturday. I'll be coaching with a full heart because I know it's the last time. So looking forward to a great matchup with Central.
Coach, you when you took the job back in 17, you mentioned that this was a special place for you and this is where you wanted to be.
Mhm.
Let's fast forward a few years later. How are your feelings now? And did you imagine yourself being in this situation a few years after getting a job at such an outstanding facility, outstanding school?
Yeah, I think that I didn't know I had the capacity to love the people or a place so much. This is a special place. It has special people. This is a football town, and so for me, it's exceeded my expectations. And I'm just, we've been able to build great young men here. From day one. We don't talk about state titles. We don't talk about league titles. We talk about being champions and doing things the right way and being very process oriented and believing that if we do that the right way, that you can end up in these situations. And here we are. So, there's still plenty of work to do, but I'm very proud of this group and proud of the groups we've had before this group that have set that foundation and have passed the torch.
What's the difference between this team, coach, and a few of the other teams that have been right there? They've knocked on the door, but just haven't been able to get through. What's the difference with this group?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. One, this team is deep. Our other teams, there's been spots where we just weren't very deep, going into the end. The other thing too, I think that we have managed the playoffs better as a coaching staff, and um, I think we've overanalyzed some things in the past, and really we've kind of loosened the reins with this crew and let them run, and let them play fast. And so I think, we were right there, have on the verge of some good runs with some other teams, but this team is a very complete football team, from top to bottom. So that's what I think has been the difference with this group.
You got a lot of great kids. Let's talk about some of them. And obviously, I think everything's going to start and stop with that. You've got Jackson Jones as your quarterback that does such a terrific job, but you also have somebody else right behind him that if something would happen, you've got Wagner right there behind him. Talk about what those two guys do for you.
The thing is we got two of the best quarterbacks the school's ever had. One's a senior, one's a junior, and they both can help us win, and they both have helped us win. I think, it's tough for defenses to prepare for because you're preparing for two different styles of play. Um, and I'm really proud of both of them because it's hard to share that position, and they both encourage each other and are their own, root for each other when the other one's in. And so, man, it's been a lot of fun to scheme people up with both of them and create some nightmare scenarios for some D coordinators, I think. And it's just been a lot of fun. They're great kids and they work super hard. So I'm blessed to have not just one, but two of them. So
You know what though? The guys on the edges and the guys that they distribute the ball to make that job a little bit easier. And you've got one of the best. And I've heard nothing but just unbelievable things about Malik. Talk about him.
dynamic player, man. I mean, I've been saying it all year. You hold your breath because when he has the ball in his hands, it's something special to witness, and he can hurt teams so many different ways, and really just explodes in the big games. You have those kids sometimes that don't do great in the big games, and he's his best in the big ones. Just has ice in his veins, and so. But a lot of fun to have him too with this group of kids, and um, he's just been so steady, so consistent for us this season.
And then, you've got Cole Crucio, who committed to Princeton. So that tells you a lot right there, what he's like in the classroom and what he does with the books and everything. But he was a Gatorade Player of the Year during the abbreviated spring schedule.
Yeah.
Talk about his, contributions and what he does to make this an overall balanced offense.
He puts so much pressure on defensive backs, and it allows really teams can't load the box on us because we can uh, get it out to Cole and create some. He'll take the top right off of it. So he's helped Malik in some ways too, keeping people out of the box. And when they do put them in there, then we're going to go make some one-on-one plays out in space. And Cole does a great job of that. You throw that ball up, and some people say it's a 50-50 ball. With him, it's about a 95-5 ball. If it's in the right area, he just knows how to put himself in position to make a great play. And he's made some really clutch, chain-moving plays for us that have led to points in the offseason, or excuse me, in the postseason here.
Your defense has just been lights out. I mean, they've done some terrific things. Some of the victories that you guys have had here in the playoff run. Talk about those guys and talk about a few of the guys, especially that linebacking core, who I've heard a lot about, the job that they do for you.
Man, I mean, I'm so impressed with this group. It took that group a while to kind of come together, but about week 6 of the season, we really started playing great defense. And as a head coach, I can tell you, it just is very calming to know that you got some guys flying around on D that are going to get you the ball back. So, that linebacking crew has a lot of responsibility to get our front in the right situation. And those guys, Kellen, Will Wilson, that's Kellen Hale, Will Wilson, Kevin Iterian, have all just done a phenomenal job and have brought a real physicality to our defense, and it's fun to watch them play. It's just, there's so much passion there, and I think you got to play great defense with passion, and they will roll downhill and make some nice plays and bring that physicality that you have to have. So it's just, I tell you, our D coordinator and our defensive staff does a phenomenal job getting our kids ready. So it's very calming on Friday and now Saturday to know that you have a staunch defense to back things up. It's like rolling into the alley with your best guy, but,
Yep.
but besides him, he's going to take care of business. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And, one of the things when I do broadcasts is I'm always looking at the line play. I'm looking at the O line, I'm looking at the D line.
Sure.
Early in the year, some experience there on both sides of the ball for you. Talk a little bit about those guys and how they've matured and that process throughout the season this year.
Man, it starts and ends with them, and they know that, and they know that we're going to put it right on their back for us to be successful. Offensive and defensive linemen in our program are a big deal. If you put your hand in the dirt for the double T's, you're a rock star. You're a big deal. You're a leader, and they really have. They've paved the way for us this season. And just been extremely cohesive. I think that you can have good linemen on both sides of the ball, but what we have is good players, but they're very cohesive and they see it through one set of eyes when they're out there. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun to coach. I'm saying that a lot because it is, man. They absolutely grind and outwork everybody around here, and they take a lot of pride in it.
Your schedule probably is one of the toughest. You play in one of the best conferences probably in the whole state. And then you play, Oswego, you play West Lynn. And then, earlier this year, you beat West Lynn. And a lot of people said there's a little bit of a letdown the following week. And then obviously you get the rematch. Talk a little bit about just how the schedule has gotten you guys ready for the state championship.
Yeah, I think our schedule is a huge reason why we're here. I really do. Every game is a big game in the Three Rivers Conference. There's no days off, and so we've really seen that in the playoffs from our kids. But I'll tell you, we came out of West Lynn the first time a little beat up and had some guys out against Lake Oswego, and we made a lot of mistakes in that game. And I think, if anything, maybe that loss and learning our lesson there has really contributed to getting us here now. As I think that left a pretty bad taste in all of our mouths. And it's something we definitely talk about and drawn from when we're talking about our next opponent and how we need to prepare and play. So, I don't know if we're here without that loss. You never want to lose a football game, but if you do, you want to learn something from it. And I think the kids did. I think we all did.
Let's talk about this next game. Let's talk about the next opponent. They've been there. They've done that. They're looking for the proverbial back-to-back because there
Sure.
wasn't a championship last year.
Right.
But, Central Catholic loaded all over the place. I know you've seen film. I know you've probably seen them in person. What are the keys for you guys to bring home your very first state title?
I think we've got to stop the big play. They make some really big plays offensively to go score, and so I think we've got to eliminate the big play for us on defense. I think offensively we have to consistently move the football. Can't turn it over. We got to end each series in a kick, whether it's through the uprights or punting it. So we can't create extra possessions for Central Catholic. And our kids need to go make the plays they've been making all year. I think the matchup wise, I think it's a very good matchup for fans because I think it's really going to come down to 4 or 5 plays and who gets them and who doesn't. And I'm hoping that we win those battles. So we're looking forward to a great game against a great opponent, and we're going to pin our ears back and see what happens.
I'm sure the community is just absolutely off the charts right now, but what would a state title mean for your community, your school, and these kids?
I think it's been close a few times and had a lot of great teams, great coaches, great players that have come out to all. And I think, if it's us standing alone in the end, we definitely did it for us, but we did it for them as well. It's been a long time coming to this school and this program, and I think it mean a lot to our alumni, and I think it would mean a lot to a lot of people. And when you stand at the top of the mountain, you're the best. And so that's what we've been shooting for all year. And our kids looked at me when we were on the road in California. Everybody went around and talked about their why, and they talked about brotherhood and team, and they talked about winning a championship. And by golly, here we are knocking on the door. So I think it means a lot to a lot of people.
And I know there's going to be a monster crowd from both communities that are going to be there on Saturday. It's probably going to be one of the best environments everybody's played in front of in quite some time.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That's not something that I focus on too much, but it'll be a great environment for sure.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I know it's a busy time. I know you got to get ready for practice and that, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. Wish you nothing but the best of luck in the championship game this Saturday. And, it's going to be a good one. Can't wait to see it.
You bet. Thank you so much.
Head coach Dan Lever joins us. And once again, it's going to be a great matchup on Saturday afternoon. We'll have full coverage for you on SBLiveOregon.com. We'll have everything covered for you, pregame, postgame, and all that great stuff. So make sure you tune in on Saturday for a great 6A championship. Thanks so much for tuning in.